Welcome to day 3 of the Mind Hacking 21 Day program. I'm Sir John Hargrave. When I go to the movies, I love analyzing the movie. Are you a movie geek like me? Movie starts up, thinking about the actors or the cinematography. But then, if it's a good movie, after a while you forget to analyze it because you get lost in it. And that's the point of a movie, right? To make you forget about your boring ass life for a few minutes. You forget you're watching the movie because you're in the movie. And our minds are just like that movie. We get absorbed in them. So if our minds say something like, that coworker Sheila is really out to get me, we don't say, oh, that's the Sheila revenge movie. Instead, we fixate on Sheila and her devious plotting. If our minds say, I am never going to find a partner, we don't say, oh, that's the Lifetime Loneliness movie. Instead, we obsess over our relationship problems. If our minds say, I'm broke or depressed or anxious or sick or messed up, we don't say, those are all BBC dramas. We think they're us. We get lost in the mind movie. Now, the good news is you don't have to believe everything you think. You don't have to believe everything your mind tells you. You can choose your thoughts in the same way you choose what to eat. There's a strange kind of relief that comes with learning this and practicing it, because you start to realize that you are not your mind. Here's a very simple exercise. Close your eyes and imagine something with me. And your success with mind hacking will largely depend on the seriousness with which you practice these mental exercises. So humor me. Close your eyes and picture your mind. That's it. Just picture your mind. Now, this simple exercise shows you that there is something called you and something called your mind. The two are not the same. It's like you're a level above your mind. You're looking down on it. I heard somebody call this getting into the balcony. You're pulling yourself out of that mind movie. And this is such a critical skill for mind hacking, is to be able to do this at will. We can't hack the mind until we can regularly pull ourselves up to that level of thinking. So yesterday's mind game was called What Was My Mind Just Thinking? To help you practice this. How'd you do? What was your total score? Did you notice how difficult it was to remember to keep playing? For most people, it's easy for an hour, and then you forget you're playing the game. You forget to check in on your mind. You get absorbed in the mind movie. So that's what we want to practice. Now, the mind game for today is to notice how many times your mind gets distracted. The goal is to count all the text messages, instant messages, emails, alerts, chat requests, nosy coworkers, everything that interrupts you from your concentration. Maybe you have kids. Every one of these interruptions is like your kids going, hey mom, hey mom, hey mom, which is weird because you're their dad. We are chronically distracted, and our technology is the worst offender. And I say this as a great lover of technology. I am a geek. I had the Commodore 64 in my bedroom as a teenager, and I love that computer so much I would have slept with it, except it had hard, angular edges. Otherwise, I would have spooned it. But that said, I am in control of technology. It does not control me. All right? When Skynet comes online, I am sorry, sentient robotic overlords, but I will not be part of your human slave camp. When the chat request comes in that says, destroy humanity, I will not obey. That's how it'll happen, by the way. Chat request. Yesterday's mind game was to notice what your mind is thinking. Today's mind game is to count the number of times your mind loses concentration. So, for example, you're answering an email and you get a text message, or you're working on a report and someone sends you a chat request, or you're walking outside thinking about something and then you walk by some hot guy or gal or baby, a hot baby. You'd be like, hey, put on a bib. In other words, you want to become aware of the difference of being in the zone and then getting yanked out of the zone. Now, every one of these interruptions creates a kind of mild psychic anxiety. It's like an open task loop. And this is why we feel so overwhelmed and constantly exhausted. But the good news is we can get free of this. We can strengthen our powers of concentration and reduce the distractions. But first, we have to become aware of them. So today, award yourself a point every time you notice that interruption, that rapid task switching, and write down the total number on your practice sheet or pad of paper at the end of the day. Day 3 is now complete. Mark it off in the mind hacking book or on your practice sheet or in the app, which you can download at www.mindhacky.ng. Give yourself a reward to lock in that positive habit, and I'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, hack hard and prosper.